Yes! I finally got my first phone.
It is exciting. Let's learn a few things about online safety first.
We can secure our world. When you choose your passwords, make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true. It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's fishy.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world.
Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
WBSM presents The Ken Pittman Show. Streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Now, Ken Pittman.
All right, second hour. The Ken Pittman Show begins. We've had some bizarre daylight lighting from the sun thanks to enormous fires, mostly coming from Canada. There's some small portion of this is due to some out-of-control fires in Minnesota as well, but the majority, over 200 fires are out of control, in addition to the ones they are confident in defeating. Out of control. And a lot of it has to do with the lack of labor. So normally, when you're managing forests, you have a grid, you have lanes, you have ways to get to any part of the forest so that if a fire starts, you can reach it and start battling it. Well, the labor of yesteryear was a lot cheaper to make these grids. And so it just isn't being done, so that it's being overgrown, and people can't reach these fires. They have to fight them through the air with these airdrops, which is very inefficient alone. And it's now Canada's lack of dealing with this. Of course, the Prime Minister's blaming it on global warming. I'm sorry, that gives you a greater need to battle these forest fires, right? I mean, some of the worst air quality on Earth right now is in Midwestern cities, and New York and Boston are certainly feeling the adverse effects of it, and we're seeing the adverse effects of it, smelling the smoke from thousands of miles away. So the need to clean these forests up, I would even, a fiscal conservative like me, I'd be okay with joining Canada and helping to fund the labor to get this done, because it seems to be getting worse. 508-996-0500. You're on the air. Hi.
Oh, hi, Ken.
Hi.
Is Ryan coming in today?
I haven't gotten an answer yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he usually comes in a little bit later. Anyway, you know that lettuce that's got the E. coli problem?
It's not E. coli. It's a parasite that causes the and they always say explosive diarrhea. I'm glad I don't have it, but what about it?
But it's always from the Mexico or countries like that. In my point being, I'm an industrial wastewater treatment operator.
Okay.
Retired, and municipal is the sewage, right? Like we have in the South End. That's a municipal wastewater treatment plant.
Yep.
Okay, now these in Poland, I know in some countries in Europe and Africa and Mexico, South America, they convert their municipal wastewater into drinking water and irrigation water to water farmlands. Okay, so I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that some pathogens have gotten through, and it can easily be done. because it's happened a lot more than once, whether it's E. coli or other pathogens. And in the wintertime, we don't grow watermelon up here. We don't grow strawberries up here. They come from down south in those countries. And it happens a lot with lettuce, I've noticed. And what I'm thinking is that the water that they're using from those plants have been totally cleaned. And
which is, it's less forgiving today, right? With the technology to sterilize water today that wasn't available even 20 years ago. I mean, it's unforgivable.
Yeah, but they're doing that, and I'm just wondering if some of the pathogens are getting through, which can very easily happen, and pass it on to as human beings. So I tried to explain this to Chris and the mayor, and he said, "Thank you for the call," because I said I could most likely make that too out of that plant, because I even said, well, it's not feasible to convert the water from the sewage plant here for irrigation because we don't have enough farmland.
Well, it's not necessary either. We have enough water coming in.
Right, correct. But when I started talking about that, I was going to get into what I'm talking about now, but I never had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my thinking is that some of those pathogens are getting through to the farmlands, and it's being transferred to us.
Well, you mentioned Poland. Are the Europeans having these parasitic problems? Well,
I haven't heard about it yet.
Right.
I don't know. We always hear about Mexico. And when my sister went to Mexico City when she was younger, she went to college there. And she had to come right back because she drank the water, and she was warned, don't drink the water now.
But we have the ability to take pond water with a cap of bleach and make it consumable. Like we have these multi-million-dollar treatment facilities that between the ultraviolet lighting that kills bacteria, chemicals. I mean, there's ways to do this that weren't available that long ago that aren't even that harmful anymore. The alternatives to how they used to do it. And we continue to get better. So how is this happening more frequently?
Well, you're using very high volumes of water. So are you getting it all? That's
well, it's unacceptable not to get 100% of the water you plan to use.
Yeah, but those countries don't really care down there. It's just think about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we do test. We do sample, like whether it's fish or produce. We do test for parasites and problems. But, I think they test, remember the fish coming in from China, they tested 10% of it and 50% of it was rejected as unconsumable. So. Right.
And even the toys that were coming in those countries not long ago from China.
Baby formula.
With the paint on these toys was toxic. It bled in them and all that stuff. And they only do a quick sample, the inspectors, because they cannot inspect it all.
Well, past presidencies have forced us to buy more and more produce to help other countries, even at the cost of shutting down American farmers. But we still are responsible to make sure that the Americans are safe, and we're not doing a good job.
Right. But I'm just wondering if that could be the problem. Because they're using huge amounts of water, so most of it could be clean, but there could be a tiny percentage that is getting through.
Lettuce lettuce in particular has really got to be cleaned better than most vegetables. It can be very dirty.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because the folding. I'm a gardener, so I had a lettuce. The leaves fold tight together, so a lot of stuff gets in there.
Yeah.
Bugs and stuff like that. So they have to use insecticides so that doesn't happen. Because if you had a lettuce open and they didn't use insecticide, you'd probably still see live bugs in there. Yeah. So I guess that's my thinking, that are they really cleaning those large volumes of water? Totally.
That's what I mean. If you're not able to sterilize 100% of the water, then you shouldn't be using that water for human consumption.
Yeah, but those countries, they just,
Yeah. Well, I think it happens here. Look, I don't know how it happens, but we have these treatment facility plants. They certainly cost enough, and enough bacteria is released to close beaches, right? I don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to talk to the mayor about that day, too, but, I know this is a time factor. Chris wants to move along. Is that I lost my thought.
Well, it's not just here. These treatment facilities, I mean, North Shore, I think Merrimack River had contamination. There was a burst. It was a breach of the pipe or whatever. But even water released after the treatment plant is too dangerous to swim there. So are we doing a good enough job?
Right. I know what I want to say. An ideal system for a city is to have the stormwater separate from then have it go into the sewage plant, because that's how you overflow it. So I just wanted to ask a simple question: does our stormwater get treated in that sewage treatment plant, or does it just go out by itself? That's an ideal situation when it's just you let the stormwater go out to the river or the ocean in its own. Don't treat it.
It's almost
you're going to overdo the system.
And I think you'll agree to this. Whatever the municipal design is to catch the stormwater, right? It's a small fraction of what actually just naturally goes into the rivers and then into the oceans anyway. It's a small fraction.
Right. So why have it go into the sewage plant? Ideally wise, I've read a lot of books on it. I'm not a municipal operator, but ideally, that system is to have all stormwater in itself go out by itself, and do not put it in the treatment plant, because it will, especially when you're already at a maximum with sewerage. If you add that to it, you're definitely going to get overflow.
How difficult is it? Because most bacteria die from ultraviolet lighting. Why not expose it to lighting as it passes through? Is it that difficult to light up, water with that kind of volume, in addition to the other things they do to treat the water?
Well, they use bacteria, good bacteria, to eat. They call them bugs.
Right, they're beneficial.
Municipal. Yeah, and they eat all the bad stuff up, and it's a tricky situation. I applied there in New Bedford back in 1990, and I didn't get the job, but I worked at industrial.
Mm-hmm.
Industrial is the fundamentals are the same. It's the same, but there's different types of chemistry involved. You have to have a chemical background, which I do, to operate a plant. And I did not get the job, and I was had to go look out for it. I worked at Wakefield Engineering for 13 years. After I applied at Municipal New Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, I agree with you, though. Not enough's being done, especially, we can't control what the other countries do with their water systems in terms of making sure that it's sterilized to the point where it's good enough for human consumption. But we can control what's coming in the country and reject it and not be forced to buy it, especially if it's a threat. Now we're seeing a major threat. Now this farm that it's been traced to, that is coming from south of the border.
Yeah, in Mexico, and it's usually Mexico that has the problem. That's why I'm wondering: is it that they're using the sewer water to irrigate the plants? That's my point. Yeah.
I certainly, I wouldn't think it's necessary because of all the, this is a rainforest there. I mean, they have a pretty good ecosystem as far as the rain goes.
But that's mostly the southern part of Mexico. The northern parts are pretty arid.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So Yikes is right.
Thanks for the call.
I just wanted to throw that up. All right, Ken.
Thank you. All right. 508-996-0500. I don't really want that in my mind, those thoughts, but it's better to be aware. So, of course, he's referring to the cyclo. What was it? It's this parasite that causes, and they won't say it alone. They won't say diarrhea. It causes explosive diarrhea. Think of Harry Dunn in Dumb and Dumber. You don't want to be that guy. And Taco Bell was purchasing from this farm and putting it on their tacos, and you paid for it. No comment. I won't comment beyond that. 508-996-0500. You are on the air.
Oh, hey, Ken. I heard you talking about the cryptosporidium. Here, let me turn that off.
That's the word.
Or is it clyrosporidium, isn't it? But, it's not limited to, there's so many angles of it. First of all, the water you were talking about. There's drought conditions, and so the big farms, if they don't have water, they don't wash it very well. And, Ben Franklin warned us years ago about don't put all your eggs in one basket. And these big agribusiness companies keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they keep getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so bad economics tied with putting all your eggs in one basket has made, if Taco Bell was buying lettuce from only one company, you would think, if there was a Taco Bell in Nebraska, if there was a Taco Bell in Missouri, and every state in the nation, they would buy locally.
Buy local, yeah.
But they're buying...
Especially this time of year.
Right. Yeah, so, it's monopoly economics, and that I'm
going to surprise you, but I'm going to agree with you. I think it's a problem. I mean, money is consolidating to fewer and fewer companies, and we're seeing... the ill effects of it in this situation. I think I agree with you here.
Sure. And then the second layer of it, of course, Doge, a solid year ago, Doge did the budget cuts for the testing for it. And, what a stupid man. You get a guy that's claiming to be the richest man in the whole world. But if you look at his past performance, the guy is a polluter, and he never cleans up his mess. And so he cashes in on polluting people, but he never cleans up after them.
All right, I got a commercial break. I got a hit right here, but I'm not sure. I think it's Musk who's claiming he's the richest man. I think that's pretty much a fact, and he may be right about the polluting. I don't know. I never really read about it. Thanks for the call.
1420 AM and 99.5 FM. WBSM.
Oh, it feels so good to be back after the long Independence Day weekend. Let me say week. Today on Brian's Biz Beat, longtime business owner, dare we say entrepreneur, Chris Medeiros joins us during the 1 p.m. hour on Brian's Biz Beat. That's right after Jose Matos on WBSM.
Stay up to date on the latest news.
I follow the news pretty much throughout the day.
New Bedford's news talk station, WBSM.
All right, as far as the voter integrity, I don't know if you caught Donald Trump's speech. He's revealed some serious problems with regards to China meddling and other things. ABC and NBC News didn't even cover it. I mean, they pretty much censured the president of the United States. If 20% of what he said is accurate, every American should be concerned. But this is a good development. So the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals yesterday temporarily allowed the U.S. Postal Service to move forward with a proposed election mail rule requiring states to provide voter lists and serialized ballot barcodes before federal ballots are mailed. And a lot of supporters of voter integrity say this will strengthen the election safeguards. And this is had to do with a California lawsuit where nearly all voters receive ballots by mail. The decision could mark a major turning point in the ongoing battle over election confidence following repeated complaints about the slow votes. The count is very slow in California and unproven allegations of widespread fraud. This ruling is a win for election integrity and would have significant implications for states like California that refused. I don't know why, but they refused to submit their voter rolls to verify compliance with federal election laws. And that's Bill Esali. I'm not familiar with his name, but he's a first assistant U.S. attorney. I like it. Barcodes? specifying who the ballots are going to, having an understanding of whether or not the person is who they say they are, anything like that, I'm for. And it'll speed up because, California is notorious for weeks and weeks before the results come in. I always get suspicious with that. Not every time, but sometimes I don't believe it needs to take as long as they do. Could have some pretty strong winds today as storms move through the area, scattered showers, but possible there'll be some damaging winds. So if you have things that are outside you need to cover or tie down or whatever, I would do that before the afternoon. You can already see the winds picking up a little bit here. I think a lot of people are welcoming the winds to push along these massive billows of smoke that are plaguing anywhere from Chicago all the way to Boston and New York. And the rain should help clean the air up a little bit here. But we're getting some foul weather over the next couple of days. It won't be constant pouring or anything, but it'll be periods of rain. And more importantly, strong winds. So just if you have things outside you need to take care of, I would do that sooner than later. 508-996-0500. Welcome to the Ken Pittman Show. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Ken. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Ken, yeah, I listen to your show a lot, and I'm just curious about one thing. Do you believe that Trump lost the election or it was stolen from him?
I don't have any reason or evidence to believe that he was denied through fraud.
Okay.
I think there were some curious things that are worthy of investigating, but they did not prove anything, and I need proof in order to make a statement like that.
Good. I'm glad that you said that because I listened to you, and like I say, I'm an independent guy. I listen on both sides. But when they keep saying the election was stolen, it was like, come on, let's get off this and let's go on to the future of what we think we should do or whatever. But he lost the election, and I just think he was one of those guys who just cannot believe that he's ever lost anything.
Now, he makes a lot of mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes in Trump's career as president has got to be him promising that he would prove it when he didn't prove it, right? He listened to the wrong people. Exactly. I mean, if you have a power inside this country that can defraud the presidential elections, then you have to understand the capabilities of these people. And if you don't think they could cover it up, don't make a promise like that. You look like a fool.
Right, it's true, and it's like any man, no matter who it is, whether you're president or not, if you lose something, you get up and say, listen, hey, I lost, but next time I'm going to try better or whatever the situation is. But you don't dwell on this. And I think that's the worst thing this president can do is constantly dwelling on the fact that he thinks he didn't lose an election.
Now, it's now what, 6 years removed? I'm a little rusty, but I remember things that concerned me, like the state of Georgia. The Republicans went to, we all went to bed with the Republicans having a lead there. And in every election, the later votes that are counted in Georgia are typically very heavily Republican. And when we woke up, the Democrats were ahead by tens of thousands. That was one thing that was curious. They shut down a polling station because of a water main break that turned out to be a leaking toilet in a bathroom. There's a few things I think they should be investigated to get a better idea. I want every American to feel like we are actually getting the results that are organic, that actually happened.
Right, and I agree, and it could happen on either side as far as that goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, I think, all in all, I think our elections are pretty secure. Sure, are there mistakes made? Is there things we can do to correct it? Fine. But let's get out of the past and just look to the...
Well, we were told, I'll give you one example. We were told that illegal immigrant voters is less frequent than an American getting killed by lightning. About 20 Americans are killed by lightning every year. The DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, they just came out with this. That in 4 states alone, just in 4 states, 250,000 illegal immigrants are registered to vote. I think that is a concern.
Right, no, and it is a concern. And like I say, things like that have to be investigated and let's straighten them out. I'm for that 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, let's take care of this in the future, and let's forget about.
But conversely,
let's finally admit that you lost. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Conversely, though, I'll ask you this: when you see measures to make sure that the vote is more secure than ever, right? To make sure that we have an understanding that the person who says they're voting is that person. Why is there pushback against this?
No, they shouldn't be. I have no problem of going and showing my license or what I have to. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm here to vote. Is my name. I have no problem with that whatsoever. You know, we can go on with that. But like I'm saying, don't go on TV like you did, and it's like, oh, the election was stolen and this and that. Let's get off that.
Oh, he was listening to people like Giuliani and his attorneys saying they're going to prove it. Don't worry about that. It's coming. It never came, and he looked like an idiot.
Right, and it's like if people would only understand, because people still believe it. He puts it out, and people believe it. And it's like, listen, people, if somebody had concrete evidence, some person could actually say, here is the evidence right here. What would that be worth, Ken?
I know.
Millions and millions of dollars. Let's face it.
If you live.
You know what I mean?
If you live.
If you live. But nobody can come out and do it, so put it to rest. That's all I'm saying.
If you can't prove it, don't say you're going to prove it. And that's the thing. I mean, that was a promise he wasn't able to keep, and it really was a bad look, right? I mean, I completely agree. And I'm not willing to say the elections were stolen from Donald Trump. I don't have any reason to believe it. Nobody showed me any concrete evidence, never mind proof. So I can't say that the elections were stolen.
All right. Nice talking to you, Ken.
Same here. You have a great weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
508-996-0500. But I do like this measure. Right? Now, this is, for some reason, it's only a temporary. The Court of Appeals, the D.C. Court of Appeals, Circuit Court of Appeals, yesterday, temporarily allowed the U.S. Postal Service to go forward with a proposed election mail rule requiring states to provide voter lists and serialized ballot barcodes before federal ballots are mailed. I think that does ensure it strengthens the election results. That's what we want. You know, we're not going to win all the races we want to win. We all will lose at one point or another. But no matter what the result is, you want it to be the actual result. In a democracy, you get the government you deserve. If we collectively vote for a train wreck, we deserve it. If the population isn't paying attention and vote even out of political illiteracy, you deserve the results. A knowledgeable voter base serves the country. It serves your future. So I know people are too busy to get involved and pay attention, and life happens. They got to pay the bills. They got to work that second job. The kids got the soccer game, whatever. You still have to find time to be knowledgeable about what it is you're voting for and who it is you're voting for. Speaking of which, in less than a half an hour now, we'll begin the Republican primary debate for the 9th Bristol state representative seat, and it'll go between Chester Tam and Henry Bousquet, who are the Republican candidates, and then we will probably have news before the end of the week about the Democratic side of that, which would be Ed Pacheco and Steve Medeiros, all vying to replace Chris Markey, who is expected to be the next district attorney for Bristol County. 508-996-0500. We'll be right back.
We weren't sure adoption would happen for us, but when it did, it happened threefold.
Mary and her husband first met their 3 children when they became their foster parents. Little did they know that their house would become the siblings' forever home.
We had to help them adjust to the idea that they wouldn't have to leave. Children in foster care have lived and survived so much. We had to help them process their trauma. And now to hear our children say that they know they have a mother and father who take care of us, teach us, and love us means everything.
The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is committed to finding safe, permanent homes for the longest waiting children in foster care.
I not only love these kids, I am just so proud of them.
You can help. Visit davethomasfoundation.org.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
The Ken Pittman Show, 1420 WBSM, New Bedford.
All right, we're going to go back to the phones. 508-996-0500. That's how you get on, and we'll welcome our next caller. Hi there.
Hello, Mr. Pittman.
Hi.
Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I can't believe what I just heard you say.
What?
That previous caller that called in and said he's tired of hearing so many people saying the election was stolen, and we have proof of it now. It came out last night that they found millions of votes that were for Trump that were hidden away, and they found it, and it's going to be coming out. And you believe that the election was also stolen. You said that. So you really believe that old man Biden got millions of more votes than Donald Trump?
I believe it. I haven't seen. Let me qualify what I said.
Go ahead.
I believe I have not seen evidence that it was stolen. When I see the evidence, I will happily correct myself.
One more thing. I forgot that woman lawyer's name, the one that says, release the Kraken. Remember how bad they scared her off? They probably were going to kill her. I forgot her name. Could you please say it? I know you know it.
Yeah, I was trying to remember her name as well, but didn't she go to jail?
I don't know. I was hoping you could fill me in. What happened to that woman?
Yeah, I think she was facing charges. I know.
For what?
Yeah. We're going back 6 years. I'm a little bit rusty with this.
No, but back to this before I hang up, because I don't get a lot of callers. You really turned it around. Really think it was not stolen at all? No doubt about it at all?
Like I said, there's plenty of things that I was Sidney Powell, by the way. But
that's right. Thank you so much.
Like I said, there were plenty of things that are worth investigating, but they didn't prove what they promised they were going to prove.
Well, okay, I agree with that, and I hope they do not, because they're claiming they found a lot of hidden votes for Trump. So I hope they go through that, and I hope you come out and admit that. I'll be waiting to hear it.
If I see, well, of course, listen, I would rather side with Donald Trump on this over Joe Biden, right? But Joe Biden.
That you believe that Biden won. You believe it, though.
I believe I don't have any evidence to suggest otherwise at this point.
I understand. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a investigator. I need evidence and proof before I make such a radical statement. And I do understand the suspicion. I do, but I will never agree without seeing physical evidence, compelling physical evidence, something that was promised and that never came to fruition. And again, if you're going to make that promise and you're accusing the country of having this sort of subversive powers to be able to do something like that to the American people, you should have a filter in place to not allow you to say such things like you're going to promise it, because you would understand how powerful these people have to be to pull that off. They could also very easily have the power to cover it all up. And whether you're talking about Republicans not being able to observe any of the vote counting at a Philadelphia station. What typically Republicans votes come in heavy in Georgia, and yet we woke up to what we were seeing the night before, a heavy Republican lead to a heavy Democratic lead in the morning. A lot of things wrong, right? The vans that were showing up in the middle of the night really never got any solid answer either way on that. Didn't look good. A lot of suspicion. Not enough to tell me they proved the elections were stolen. And look, the outrage. Oh, how dare he say the elections were stolen? What were they saying when he won in 2016? They were saying that the Russians helped Trump to steal the elections. Nobody cares that they were saying the same damn thing because it's the Democratic Party and there's a double standard with the media and with the way people think. They were saying it first. Even when the FBI said the Russians were trying to have an effect on the elections, but it was unsuccessful. It wasn't enough of an impact to change any result. It didn't stop Hillary Clinton and all these Democrats from saying Trump and the Russians stole the elections. People forget that. They want to forget that, I should say. When Donald Trump said it, well, that's an outrage. How can he say such a thing? It is unbelievable that Joe Biden, who never went on the campaign trail, who stayed in his basement, pretty much hid from the public because every time he spoke, it was a train wreck, was able to garner more votes than the unbelievably successful campaign of Barack Obama. 81 million votes. Barack Obama, what did he get? 67 million votes, whatever it was, a record breaker at the time. And whether you liked his politics or hated his politics, Barack Obama's campaign, one of the most breathtaking successes in American political history. Joe Biden did none of that. I mean, why spend billions of dollars going city to city like the rest of the fools if you can do it from your basement, hiding from the press, hiding from your opponents? There was a lot to question. Don't get me wrong, I'm not promising you it wasn't stolen. I'm saying I'm not nearly close enough to say it was stolen. I need evidence. We don't even have a suspect. There's nobody you could point to. Never mind how it was done or if it was done. You got to be reasonable and you got to be tempered when you make such a statement. You got to be responsible with your language. I'm not saying the guy in the White House right now is responsible with his language, right? When we all put our hands over our eyes for a moment, 3 or 4 times a week, even though we vote for this guy. He's uncoachable. And to make a promise that he's going to prove it when he didn't prove it, and all the people around him ended up getting in trouble. I'm sorry, but you're not going to even... There are staunch Trump supporters. I might disappoint. I don't care. I need proof. Without proof, I'm not going forward with such a bold statement. A lot of questionable things happen. No doubt about it. But you did not prove it. Thanks for calling. You're on the air.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Did you see the movie 2,000 Mules that Dinesh D'Souza put out?
So, I'm sorry, repeat that?
Did you see the movie called 2,000 Mules?
I did not.
I would recommend that you see that movie. By Dinesh D'Souza put that movie out.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I did not watch it, though. And I like Dinesh.
I thought it was excellent. I look at things, as I try to. It really swayed me as to the evidence that he presented of what happened in the election. It was pretty convincing to me. I would just recommend that you see the movie.
Yeah, I almost forgot about it. I'm aware that he produced it and all that stuff. Would you say he proved anything?
Yeah, it was quite compelling to me. They went into everything from the huge ballot drops. What happened. In Georgia. I saw it a while ago, so I forget a lot of it. But at the time, it really made a lot of it was quite quite compelling, I thought. And I just, right now, going forward, I just do not like this mail-in voting. I want the SAVE Act passed.
I like this measure, though, to have it barcoded individually to each voter. I do like that.
Well, I mean, why can't we just go back to the way things were? You know, voting day was voting day. If you needed an absentee ballot because you were sick or disabled or whatever, then just go back to the way things were.
I don't know. There's been mail-in. How long have the mail-in ballots been allowed? I'm not even aware of the history of it. It's been around quite a while, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, not to the extent where it's early voting and it just takes too long. I mean, we don't get election results as quick as we used to get them, and it just means too much suspicion out there. But like I said, I would definitely watch that movie, and maybe I'll call you back after you watch it and see what you think.
Goes back to the 1980s. Absentee and voting by mail, but I'll check it out. I meant to at the time, and I instead read the opinions of political journalists, left and right and center, their opinion of it all, and I didn't think anybody was overly impressed with proof. The word proof is a strong word here. I don't think they would use that word when they watch that movie.
Well, I know those. A lot of things happen, especially with Sidney Powell, and I think it was Lynn, whatever his name was. He was an attorney too. He got into a lot of hot water.
Yeah,
with this,
legal hot water. Disbarred, right? Wasn't Sidney Powell? Was she disbarred?
Yes, she was disbarred. She was arrested, I think.
If not close to it, I remember she was in jeopardy of being arrested. I forget the history of it.
Remember in Pennsylvania how that overnight everything just shifted for Joe Biden mysteriously. Trump had a huge lead, and all of a sudden, just like that, it was gone.
Georgia and Pennsylvania. Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I mean, it just, again, going forward, though, I want the SAVE Act passed. I do not like this birthright citizenship.
To be honest with you, though, the fact that Biden was sandwiched between two Trump terms was a better result that Trump didn't finish his 8 years, then have Biden erase most of it and go forward when it comes to things like immigration. So it actually worked out, even though it was an ugly period of time.
Yeah. But we cannot have, these people. I do not like birthright citizenship at all. That has to be.
Well, I don't like that it's being ignored. The fact that it's been abused and weaponized to usurp the will of the American people, and even though the court acknowledges that, and they are right. Listen, I agree with the court. They can't legislate from the bench. They need Congress to change it. I don't have any confidence at all Congress, with this makeup of people, would ever change the 14th Amendment. But I still think it is up to Congress to change the law. It's not the court's job.
Right, but no, we're at a point in this country right now where it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, with what's going on with the Democratic Party.
The DSA is the fastest growing wing of the Democratic Party. They want to do away with the U.S. Senate. They want to do away with the presidency. They want to do away with the Supreme Court.
They want to do away with the United States as we know it.
Right. They want to erase it. They
think that these kids today, they think that socialism is the way to go. It's never worked. It never has. I mean, look throughout history. I mean,
Sinn Féin was the political wing of the IRA. Well, I think the DSA is the political wing of Antifa.
Right. Exactly. And until we get some, I do not like this mail-in voting. I want election day. I want the results. We used to always get the results in a day or so or whatever.
Boy, I can't. The Al Gore, George Bush results really took a long time, and I think it hasn't gone back.
That's what started it all.
Yeah. I got to run for a commercial. That's a good phone call, though. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye. Have a great weekend. All right, we'll be back.
to date on the latest news.
I follow the news pretty much throughout the day.
New Bedford's news talk station, WBSM.
Hello, New Bedford. Regain control of your financial future. Tune into the Retirement Factory Saturdays at 6, Sundays at 10, here on 1420 WBSM.
All right, we'll have the 9th Bristol State Representative debate between the Republicans, Henry Bousquet and Chester Tom. That'll be after the 11 o'clock news, and that's just in a few minutes. And we will have news about the Democratic side of that before the end of the week. Hopefully, I'll get word today, and we'll begin informing the public about when that will happen. In the meantime, let's go back to the phones. You have a couple minutes left here to take a couple of calls. You are on the air. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Am I on the air?
You are, sir.
Well, I want to tell you, I'm a registered Republican. I've never voted for a Democrat in my life. But Donald Trump's talking about voter fraud. After the 2020 election, when he lost, he was calling up governors of states and asking them and saying, I just need 20,000 votes. What is that? Isn't that he was wanting them to create votes?
Well, I mean, I think you have to allow. I think you have to allow for the idea that he was saying, if you sift through these again, you should be able to find mistakes. You know, try to find me 20,000 mistakes. I don't think he was saying defraud the Georgia and people and the American people. I wouldn't say that's proof that happened. Trump is not always the most precise speaker, and so I'm going to give him that benefit that's what he meant. That's what he said he meant. I believe him. I just do.
I think he was looking for him to create votes.
I don't think he was encouraging people to break the law, especially on a phone call that is absolutely going to be listened to.
He's been breaking the law his whole life.
For example?
All his dealings in New York and everything. You don't think he skirted the law there?
I don't think they're prosecutable. I think they uniquely prosecuted the guy. Again, these things that he was prosecuted for, back in, following the 20 elections. I mean, I just think there were a lot of kangaroo courts going on. But I do appreciate your opinion. Thank you for it. All right, I am out of time. I'm sorry about the last caller. We'll have to do it again another time. But we'll have the Republican primary for the 9th Bristol debate coming up after the news. You're listening to Ken Pittman.
WBSM and W258DR, New Bedford, a Town Square media station.